Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Anna the Nutritionist, and today I want to talk about things that I wish I knew when I was yo-yo dieting in the past. If you're not familiar with my weight loss history, I have pretty much been overweight or obese my entire life until recently. Starting in 2018, I actually lost 25 kg and I am still keeping it off as of now. And before that, I have always wanted to lose weight. I wanted to look good and I wanted to be healthy, but I was always following these quick fixes or these fat diets that promise quick results, and the end result of that is just endless yo-yo dieting. I would always go on a new diet and lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and then later gain it all back and go through that cycle time and time again. And when I was in that cycle, I actually ended up gaining more weight every time I finished a diet because I was so deprived of food that I would just go and actually binge eat everything that I wanted to eat that whole time. So if I could go back in time and tell my former self things about diet, here are a few things that I actually wish I knew back then. The first thing, and I think the most obvious lesson that I learned over time, is that there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts for weight loss, and I think there are just no shortcuts in any success in life. So I think it's really important to have a mindset change to really see weight loss and your weight management as a long-term game. We're talking about your long-term health and your body is something that you only get one of in your life. So it's really important to take good care of it in the long term and not just some short-term goal that you want to look good for a certain upcoming party or whatnot. So that is a mindset that I wish I had back then, to really look at things in the long term and understand that there are no magic pills and no magic machines that could actually help you lose weight instantaneously. I have yet to see any person advocate these methods for long-term weight loss, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose like me, 20 plus kgs. These are definitely not the shortcuts you want to take because they simply don't work and they do more harm to your health than good. The second thing I wish I knew was that it's not going to be easy. I think growing up, especially in a pretty traditional Chinese family, I was expected to be successful in my studies, in my career, in my personal life, whatnot, and I would argue that a lot of these things were easier than weight loss. For me, for many years, weight loss was kind of the one thing that I couldn't achieve, and I could get into schools that I want, I could get the grades that I want, I get friends that I want, I get jobs that I want, and yet I couldn't lose weight. And I've always had this mindset that it's just another milestone that I can achieve if I want to. It's going to be easy once I put my mind to it and actually do it. But actually it's not that easy, especially when I didn't have a good foundation in terms of health, whereas maybe in my academics, I've built a good foundation over years and years of tutor and whatnot as an Asian kid. But really in my health journey, I was starting from scratch in my 20s. I knew very little about what was healthy, what was not healthy, what was wrong in my diet, and I basically had to re-educate myself and start from scratch. And this wasn't something that I thought when I was still yo-yo dieting. I thought that weight loss would be as simple as following a meal plan that I can find online and just sticking to it, and magically I will lose all the weight. I wish I had acknowledged that it wasn't going to be easy, because then I would just dedicate more time and energy to this project for my own health. The third thing that I wish I knew back then is that a body transformation also equals to a lifestyle transformation. What I mean is, if you are going into a weight loss journey thinking that by the end of the journey, all of this will be over and you'll be able to go back to your current eating and lifestyle habits, but still maintain your new body, then that is just the wrong mindset. The reason why we look the way we do is because of all the choices that we make in our diet and our lifestyles. So for us to actually achieve and maintain a brand new body, we have to approach our lifestyle in a brand new mindset, basically. You cannot think that you will be able to return to your old way of living once you achieve your goal, because that mindset will just lead you to gain back the weight and go back to your old body. So this is really a lot of sacrifices, and in the end, life is a give and take situation. If you don't give, you're not gonna get what you want. So for me back then, I just did not understood this at all, and I didn't approach dieting the way that I do now. And I think this is a really important mindset to have, because what you want to do with your diet and your lifestyle should be sustainable. So if you're looking at any meal plans or any diet regimens that you cannot honestly do for life, then that is not the diet for you, and that is not the way of eating for you. So just as an example, a lot of people now are following low carb diets or keto diets. It's clearly not for everybody. I think that a lot of people would not thrive with a very low carbohydrate intake. So the question to really ask yourself when you're exposed to these new diets and new information about eating is to ask yourself if you can do it for a lifetime. So things that I think I adopted and I could really stick to for life are advice like sticking to whole nutritious foods in their original form and cutting back on processed foods and added sugar. That is something I think I could stick to 80% of the time, and to me that's a great improvement compared to my past lifestyle. And things also like having a higher protein consumption and also drinking more water. So these are all things that I knew I could stick to for a long-term kind of diet adjustment. So these advice will be things that you could really sustain and really help you transform your lifestyle towards a healthier direction. And if you can do that, then I can guarantee you the transformation in your health and in your body will actually follow after. And the last thing that I wish I knew better is that everything is a give and take situation. If you want something that you don't have right now, you have to put in the effort, the time, and sacrifices in order to achieve that thing that you want. And I think this applies to things outside of weight and health. It also applies to your studies and your career. You have to put in the time, effort, and energy. You have to sacrifice certain things like your own free time or your play time to actually dedicate it to something that you want to achieve. So the same thing goes for your health. So for example, for me, the biggest sacrifice that I made was actually my social life. Back then, I really loved drinking, and I would go out every weekend or even weekdays actually to socialize with colleagues and friends. I would eat a lot and also drink a lot of alcohol. So when I entered in the weight loss journey, I know this is the part of life that I couldn't sustain, and so I have to sacrifice that for my longer term health. It was very hard to let go at first, and I would still go out to these social gatherings without drinking or eating, so I would just be present because I didn't want to miss out, and I still wanted to see my friends. I didn't want them to not be friends with me just because I'm on a diet, and I had to learn how to deal with all those changes and how to prioritize my health essentially. So after a while of trying this, still going out but not drinking or eating kind of routine, I decided that it's not really for me. It was very hard to resist the temptation when it's right in front of you, and when friends are actually urging you to take a sip of drink and just take a bite of the food. And also I just didn't find it as enjoyable without the alcohol. Like, just being in those situations without the booze is not fun at all. Like, it was only fun because I was drinking. So once I cut that back, I actually realized that I don't enjoy these gatherings as much as I thought I did. Once I came to that realization, I think it was quite easy to then actually say no to these gatherings and pull back a lot of my social life. I think in that situation, it's very easy to see this as a huge sacrifice, and a lot of people aren't willing to make these sacrifices for weight loss. And they feel that even if they were to make these sacrifices, they wouldn't be able to really stick to it in the long term. And going back to my previous point, if you can't make a sustainable lifestyle change, then if you go back to your old habits, it's just gonna come back to you in terms of weight regain. So for me, I think what I realized coming out of this process was that I actually don't have to stick to that old way of social life. In my new norm and in my new lifestyle, I find it even more precious if I were to reserve my social life for the really important moments. If it was a friend's birthday or a friend's wedding, I would still really enjoy those occasions and actually being able to enjoy the food and drinks presented in those occasions. And I would not hold myself back. And the thing that I also realized was that true friends will stick around and support you no matter what. If you're making lifestyle changes that are good for your long-term health, your friends, your families, and even your colleagues should be supportive of you instead of discouraging you. And before then, I was always so afraid because every time I have yo-yo dieted in the past, I was always told off by friends who would tell me to just forget about it because you're gonna gain the weight back anyways. You might as well enjoy this meal. You might as well just give up. And I would say I was very lucky in the past 2 years to really receive support from my friends because I have also dedicated and sacrificed and proved to them that I could do it, and I really needed their support in order for me to reach my long-term health goal. And in return, I think my friends also show more appreciation for the occasions that I actually show up and eat and drink with them. Those moments actually become even more valuable than before. So if you're trying to embark on a weight loss journey, I hope some of this information is helpful to really put yourself in a long-term perspective and to set yourself up for success. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more future videos on nutrition and health. Also follow me on Instagram for more daily updates about what I eat and how I train. See you next time. Bye!